Hey everybody, and welcome back to another screencast video here. We're going to do two things. One is to crop an image to some specific proportions, one that's already in the Photos app on our iPad. And the next is to use the Grid app here on iOS in order to get a grid on there so that we can then translate that photograph over onto, in our case, at this point, a canvas. And if I open the Photos app, I've already kind of predetermined I want to use this image. I've got an apple and some fruit, a bag of coffee in the background. And what I need to do is pay attention to what proportions I have on the canvas that I am going to. In this instance, I have a canvas that is going to be 12 inches wide and 16 inches tall. Again, here, you know, it might be 16 inches wide and 12 inches tall, but 12 by 16, which if we use a little bit of math, we can reduce that to being 3 to 4. So if I come to the edit button here in the top right and I click on the crop button over here on the left, again towards the top right, I have the rectangles. It's kind of the third thing from the right, and it'll give me some proportions down at the bottom. I've got original, freeform, square, etc. What I want is 3 to 4, right? It has a colon there in the middle. Again, if yours is horizontal, it will probably say 4 to 3. Now this doesn't get rid of much, if anything. So you may be good, but it all depends on the photograph that you're starting with. This is also, though, my opportunity to maybe I want to zoom in a little bit. You know, I like the original, but maybe I zoom in a little bit more just because I can, for no other reason, right? So I'm going to go with something like this just because. I'll click done there at the end, and now I've got a different photograph. Next, as I go back to my home screen, I will want to go to the Grid app. I've used it recently because I was setting this up ahead of time, but you can always come down, begin to type in the word grid, and it'll bring up what you've got. So I'm doing this here. In the upper right-hand corner, I'll click on the camera. I'm going to go to Albums and Recents, and then I need to scroll until I find the image that I want. Kind of right here. Boom. Now it's got a grid on here, but that's not the one I want. That's from something else that by default was being used before. So in the upper left hand, I see the kind of menu bars, the lines with the dots on there to the left of where it says mode. I'm going to click on that. And actually for me, I think the first thing that I'm going to do is change the color of my grid. And I'm also going to change the width. I'm going to bring that up to 2. 2 to 3 tends to be pretty good. The grid type, I am going to, well, it already says it's a square. If I click on that, it'll give me rectangles or squares, and I definitely want squares for this, so click back. And then rows, which are the horizontal areas. If I have a 16-inch tall canvas, and you could put it in however many even number of squares that you want. I am going to choose to do 2-inch squares on my canvas, so that means I need 8 rows on my image. I will click save, and everything should be good to go at this point. So I'm just going to count them: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 squares top to bottom. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 from left to right. And so there's two things I'm going to do next. One is just take a screenshot. I shouldn't need that, but sometimes this app, when it exports, it will take one of my rows and actually trim some of it off, and it's a rectangle, and that's a little weird. Next, I'm going to press and hold, or long press, right? Save grid and image. Yes, that's what I want to do. It gives me an ad here because it just does. I don't really care about that. And now when I go back to my photos, and I come all the way down here to the most recent stuff, I've got my image with my grid on there. I also have my screenshot, that has my grid on there just in case. And now I'll be able to take this and begin drawing it onto my canvas once I get the same number of squares on my canvas, and it'll allow me to enlarge this significantly and keep everything in proper proportion without too much difficulty. So there you go. It's a couple of steps, not too challenging. If you have any questions, let me know. And as always, have fun.